It's another beautiful sunny day at De Vere Farm. All of the goats are grazing. Some of the goats are grazing, making their way up the top. The babies are definitely foraging now. Pixie is back in the paddock. Pixie has laminitis. Just keeping an eye on how she's walking at the moment. Pixie's also got sweet itch. She's had all of her fly spray. Hello. And she's got her nice zebra rug on. Okay, Pixie. So yeah, Pixie's got laminitis. We decided to take her out a couple of weeks ago so that herself and I could lose some weight. I've put on a good stone, so I'm up to about 9 stone, and Pixie's 12 too. And I would never ride Pixie being more than 8.5 stone, because you just don't do that. I have personal issues with extremely overweight riders, and especially if I'm going to be one of those myself, I find it quite grotesque. Not saying that overweight people can't ride, just saying that the 20% rule of how much you weigh in comparison to the height of the horse, and then the added tack, isn't suitable for my horse. So she's got laminitis at the moment. This reason for it is, I feel, because I have been very lenient, sometimes listening too much to other people online saying that your horses should be out all the time, which, you know, I do agree with. They should be out 24/7. When I first got Pixie, see, this is why I don't like this paddock. You see her slip there. Horses shouldn't be cooped up and stabled up. You know, she comes from Dartmoor. When I first got her, she would not even step foot in a stable without kicking up a fuss, and it was a real fuss. I witnessed that when I bought her. So over the last 4 years that I've owned them, for the first 2 years they were in the daytime, out at night, constantly going up to the stables, which is 400 metres away, lugging sawdust, bales of hay and whatnot all the way up there on little wheelbarrows. It's very, very tiresome, along with whenever it rains, the lovely sawdust bed that you put down gets very, very wet. And then in the summer, with the amount of goats that I have, even mucking out once a week, it's still, with the horse flies, it still encourages maggots. So I thought I'll just put some mats down and let the horses roam free, and that saved a lot of time. However, with letting the horses out, the sugar in the grass becomes very high during the spring and summer months, and finding out that the hay that I was using was 10% sugar, and I didn't soak it purely because in the past when I had soaked it, they just left it. So I end up with loads of hay that is wasted, ends up going mouldy, and just going straight onto the compost heap, which isn't good. So I gave up with soaking it. So it's, you know, it's part and part. Being too kind, kindness killing, listening to other people online. As you'll see, she's got some hay there in the little hay bar that she's sharing with some of the goats. This is 4.4%. I've been lucky enough to find a new farmer who tests all of his hay. He's got organic hay as well. So yeah, really, really chuffed to have found him in the last week, and he delivers. Literally, I couldn't believe it the other day. He brought it up, one bale in one hand, another bale in another hand. I was like, where do you get that bloody strength? But yeah, so they don't need this hay soaked. It makes it more palatable for them. And as said, Pixie suffers with sweet itch, so the other day I decided to get her into the stables because we had a thunderstorm. So I took her all the way up, put a lovely new bed, and this is the reason why, as you've just seen, that when it gets wet and muddy, and all of this area has been cleared. We started clearing it the other day. But when the rain comes in and we have thunderstorms, it gets wet and muddy. And I don't like the horses in this area because they churn it up. And you can see how much they churn it up. So I had Pixie in the stable the other day. And what with her sweet itch, she likes to rub her bum. And she rubbed it against the stable wall. This turning some of the wood and then ruined the stable. I had half of the stable come down on me, which I had to fix yesterday. So instead of putting her into another stable and her doing exactly the same thing, I thought, stuff it, just bring her back into the paddock. If she's really, really wet, then she can put a coat on, she can get shelter in that tiny little stable there, which she does go in, even though I say that she's too small and it was made as a goat shelter. She goes in it. So the question is, do you keep your horses in 24/7? Do you let them out half and half, 12 hour, and how to combat laminitis? So Pixie is under the vet at the moment. She is on paracetamol for the first 2 weeks along with bute, and now she's on bute. She's on reduced sugar honey chop, no pony cubes, no grain, no extra mix, because she's not working, so she doesn't need it. She's on laminase and NAF Slim, but she doesn't like that, so she tends to leave that in the bottom of her bucket. But we are on a journey together to both lose some weight. I'm back in the school, gaining extra experience, even though I've been riding since 2013, 2014. Did a good 4 years solid in a school, learning how to canter, do poles, jumps, all sorts. But in the last 4 years, I've found it difficult due to the rural setting that I live in, how far away we are from schools, and not finding the adequate instructors to be able to come along and or for me to go to find the right rapport with the right instructor. But I have found a school now over in Exeter that I go to on a weekly basis. So the idea is that I go to the school, relearn everything, and I've said, put me back on basics. Make out that I'm a beginner, and we'll start right from the beginning, which is, it's fine, you know. I don't want to go on horses that I haven't been on before and do cantering and jumping with them straight away. I want it to be a trust exercise where the instructor gets to know what my abilities are. And honestly, sometimes you think that you're really great at it, but then you are probably looking like a sack of spuds or a jellyfish bobbling up and down, which isn't good for your horses if you're going to end up breaking their backs, not riding them properly. So I wanted to lose some weight, get my core, get my skills back up to scratch, and in the meantime, Pixie get herself back into shape. That's Poppy. Get herself back into shape so that we can go out riding, and then hopefully we can find suitable rider for Rupert to bring him on, because he can be a lovely boy if he has the right confident rider, or get someone that's small enough to be able to ride Pixie, and then myself ride Rupert, retrain them, because the issue is that they get turned out in the winter. So come November it becomes very, very wet, muddy and dangerous, so you can't get them out anyway. So there's no point pushing them into it. But yeah, So the issue is laminitis, sweet itch, all under the vet, all being controlled. Bit of a journey, bit of a slim fast journey going on, making sure that the animals are well cared for, and they are. They're all well loved. They wouldn't be here if they weren't loved. They would have run off by now. But yeah, I think the moral of this story is don't listen to other people online. Make sure that you're doing what's right for your individual horse. A lot of other people have probably got posh liveries that have been built for them with hard standing areas and not 4 acres of hillside. So yeah, even just having the hill makes life a little bit different. Not having hardcore, not having concrete. Everything's completely different when you're building a farm and home for your animals in comparison to paying somebody £150 a week for something that you don't necessarily own and is already built for you. So yeah, just be careful of the experts, the keyboard warriors, and everybody online that thinks that they're a qualified farrier and vet, because what's right for their horse isn't necessarily right for your horse. And she's a happy girl. She's getting there, she's happy, and she's loved. So hopefully in a few weeks she'll be back out on the grass at night. The other reason why I'm not having her out is because when she's menstruating, Rupert can smell it, and if he mounts her while she's lame, that's just going to cause more injury for her. So yeah, I vow not to listen to other people online ever again.